Hey, it's Cheryl, and welcome to Secrets of a Survivor podcast, where I'm sharing my story, my challenges, and my learnings along the way, both business and personal. Basically, all the things. If I can do it, then so can you. So I'm here to help you on your way and be the person I wished I'd had. So let's get started with today's episode. Hello and welcome to today's episode. So today I wanted to share with you how I was feeling previously, because I think this is a really, really important thing. I didn't believe that my abuse was enough. I didn't believe that I was being abused for a long, long time, or that what I'd been through was abuse, because I wasn't black and blue all the time. I didn't believe that my abuse was enough. That it didn't count. Does that make sense? It's like when you think of an abuse victim or a domestic violence victim, actually I don't like the word victim, survivor, you think of somebody black and blue, covered in bruises, broken bones and blood and fat lips and things like that. And that wasn't me. Don't get me wrong, I did have bruises. I did have a broken arm at one point, but it was mostly in places that you wouldn't see. And so that stereotypical person wasn't me. And a lot of what I went through was the mental side of it. So for years I minimised what I went through. I thought that I wasn't that person, that stereotypical person that you think of. In my mind, I felt that a lot of other people had it way worse than me. You'd see them all over the news and things like that, and that wasn't me. So for a long time, I thought that what I went through didn't count. Which then started off that whole thing of I didn't think anyone would believe me, again because there was no physical bruises, and the broken arm I managed to explain away that nobody's, well, as far as I know, nobody suspected anything, apart from at the hospital they knew, but that's another story. He could be so charming and put this shield up in public, so I would just think, well, why would anyone believe me? How could they believe me? Because it didn't look like that, or what you would think it would look like. So again, it made me think that it wasn't enough. Therefore, I wasn't enough. And I think that was a really hard place to be, because I couldn't, in my mind, therefore share it with anybody or speak to anybody. I couldn't get help. And because I didn't believe I was in that situation, or even afterwards I didn't believe that I'd been in that situation, I didn't feel that there'd be people out there that could help me, or would help me, because again, it wasn't enough. It wasn't what you saw. So I think that's one of the reasons I hid it for so long. And there was a couple of people that I had said or alluded things to, and again they just batted it off or dismissed it or ignored it, changed the subject. So it made me feel again that I wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. I was being stupid and just had to get on with it, basically. And it wasn't until I finally reported everything to the police after an incident, and the sergeant that we had looking after us commented that it was one of the worst cases he'd ever seen. And that was the moment that I finally felt validated. And it was real, it counted, and I suppose more importantly, it was abuse. The officer who came round didn't judge or dismiss anything. She was actually so supportive and helpful. I think the lady that came around initially, I think she thought she was just going to be here for an hour or so. I felt really bad because she was probably here for about 6 hours. Past the end of her shift, bless her. But the support she and the sergeant and the whole team was just, I can't even describe it really. It was life-changing, I suppose, because that was the point at which I was able to turn my life around. But I guess more importantly, it really changed my opinion on the police. And it made me wish that I'd spoken to them earlier. Yes, you hear in the news, social media and all those little things, that a lot of the cases get reported and nothing comes of them. We've all heard the reports about how people have reported it more and more times and it's got worse and worse and worse, and then the worst has happened. But from my experience, the police were amazing and I felt supported. They helped me to feel safe, more importantly. And even though I didn't go and take it any further, just the fact that I had reported it, it was on record, people knew, it was real, that really helped. I didn't need the next stage, personally, for a whole other reasons, which I probably will never go into. But to me, that support and reaching out and actually reporting it was what I needed to do. And it has helped me massively. That was the point that I realised that I needed help. Well, I think I always knew I needed help, but I really believed I needed help. But more importantly, I knew that it was okay to ask for help. And that I should and I can or could or whatever those words are. I suppose should isn't probably my coach will tell me off for saying the word should. But anyway, that I could ask for help, to work through my experiences, that I wasn't an imposter. Good old imposter syndrome even showed up in my abuse. God. But that I was allowed to feel the way I did, I suppose. And I could then get the help I needed to move forward and to heal. And the relief that I felt at that point really surprised me as well. I'd spent so many years suppressing my feelings, thinking that was my life, and I just had to get on with it. But now I knew it was real, it had happened, it wasn't all in my head. And that was when I thought I can actually start a journey to fully acknowledge my abuse and heal. When I was first in that situation, I mean, we're talking like 20 odd years ago, the mental side of abuse wasn't spoken about that much. It was more the physical side of abuse. And that probably didn't help me to realise or see how bad things were. So, again, because I didn't fit in that box, I wasn't that stereotypical person. But now it's really, well, it's horrible to see, but it's good to see for survivors and to raise awareness that all sides of abuse are recognised. The coercion, the mental, everything, it's all out there in the public domain now. It is well recognised, well supported, and it's one of the reasons that I've wanted to speak out about my experiences, in the hope that it will help others to see that what they have been through or are going through is real and it is abuse. And I guess most importantly, that there is help out there and there is people that can support you and get you out of those situations to heal and to move on. Because I never felt that anyone was out there to help me when I was going through it. So the fact that it is now publicly recognised, I really do hope that it will help people to see it, to understand it, to acknowledge it, and the fact that it is out there and it is real. So I don't want anyone to ever feel that what they're going through isn't real, it isn't enough, it doesn't qualify, I suppose, because it does. And I'm sure I have shared examples of things. There's many places out there that do share examples of what is actually classed as abuse, and it's a really scary thought that 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men would actually experience this. That is shocking and scary. People you know are experiencing it. You may be somebody experiencing it, and I hope that if you are, that you can reach out to somebody, to me, and just talk through what you're going through, so you can then have your feelings and everything validated, and that you can understand what's happening and see a way out of it. And I guess that's why I wanted to cover this as episode 2, because it's something that's really, really important to me, and it stopped me for so long getting that help that I needed. So that's why I wanted to share this message. Even the tiniest little bit of abuse is abuse. Doesn't matter. It is abuse. And you are valid in your feeling of that abuse. Doesn't have to be that stereotypical image that we all think of. You don't need to be in that box to be a survivor. And yeah, sorry, I've taken it down a really, really, I don't know what the word is. But yeah, it feels like a really Debbie Downer episode. But I really hope that this has helped at least one person to realise there is more to abuse than what you see in the news. And if it helps one person to realise what they're going through is not right, and that there is ways they can get out and get help, then my mission here is done for this episode. So I'm going to leave you there, because I think I've put down enough on this episode. I promise the next few ones won't be so down. I should try and bring some fun and some help and advice and some tips into the next few episodes. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you'd like more help and support, check out the show notes for links to my website, socials and YouTube channel. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to share and tag on your social posts. And if you wouldn't mind leaving a review, I'd be really grateful. Thank you so much again. I just want to leave you with this thought. You are strong, you are capable, you are lovable, and you are brave. But most importantly, you are enough. You've got this.